Hey guys, this is Dan with Gears and Gadgets. Thanks for tuning in. Man, it feels like forever since I've been on the bike doing a vlog. It's been like a few weeks. But the reason for that is that I've actually had an incredibly busy couple weeks. I wanted to share with you guys. I have added something to, well, I'm about to add something to the channel that is not going to be controversial on, well, my channel with you guys, but it's certainly controversial with my wife at home. And the reason for that is I just bought a car last week, well, sight unseen on the internet from a public auction, and I believe that I made a good decision. However, it is quite possible that I've actually made a terrible decision. Who knows? I mean, the thing is with these public auctions, you really don't know what you're getting. But what I did was, my wife, her lease is up in, well, 2 months, 3 months, call it. And being now that I have this Harley that, if you guys have been watching for a while, you'll know I just got about 6 months ago. Once we turn her lease in, we really don't need to go out and get another car for, you know, $300 a month, or, you know, no matter how you slice it, that's kind of what happens is you can go and lease a new car for, you know, $300 a month and get a modest car. They always advertise these $199 deals and all that, but when you look at the fine print, you put $6 grand down for those payments. And if you put nothing down, you're right back to that $300 payment. Or you can purchase the car and buy it 72 months of financing, and that becomes, well, $300 a month. It's like, or $350. No matter how you slice it, you're back to that $300 mark, unless you go with something really cheap, in which case now you're paying $200 a month and you have like no amenities. So I really started weighing my options, and I kind of talked to my wife, and we also have the GMC 1500 that's been on this channel quite a bit, and I've done some content around that. So I talked my wife into basically her taking that truck full time, and then I only need really something that's reliable enough to get back and forth to work, but I don't need to have a $20,000 car or some $10,000 car with crazy interest rates. I just don't need all that. So I took to the public auctions and I bought a car. It's 12 hours away. So last week I find this car on public auction, and I decide to start bidding on it. And at first it was an $800 car, and my thought was, geez, you know, for $800 this is a steal, which it was. And I said, you know, my top dollar for this is going to be about $1,200, and then I'm going to tap out. So I talked to my wife. She was incredibly apprehensive about it, but she was on board. So in typical bidding spirit, I got carried away, and I bid it up to $1,500. What I wasn't really paying attention to is that they also charge a 9% fee on top of that for like a bidder's premium. So it ended up being like $1,700, and I still got a really good deal on it, I do believe. So what is the car? It is a 2008 Crown Victoria Police Interceptor. It has under 100,000 miles on it. I have no idea how many engine idle hours there are, but looking at these pictures, man, it looks like it's clean. So I'm looking at this like it was probably a detective's car. So I'm looking at the interior saying the seat looks barely worn at all. I mean, the interior, the back seat looks like it's barely ever been touched. It's all cloth interior. This is the perfect police interceptor to pick up for what I need in a vehicle. So bidding went up to, like I said, $1,500. After all said and done, I'm into it for $1,700. The local junkyard here, which is a U-Pull-It junkyard, has all these parts and pieces that would rebuild this whole front end for about $200. Now add in a $500 paint job for the front end, and you have yourself a complete car, perfect for what I need. And I mean, these police interceptors go for I mean, into the 250,000 miles is frequently reported on these cars. So this car has a ton of life left in it, most likely. Now, what I don't know is really like what the undercarriage looks like. I bought this thing totally sight unseen. And, you know, the auction says that it runs, and they showed all the pictures. The engine compartment looks like none of the damage got into the engine compartment at all. Nothing got into the radiator. It really all looks like cosmetic damage just to the front quarter. So, if I can rebuild this thing for another $700, you know, I'm into this car for, call it $2,500. But the problem is, it's 12 hours away, and it's not really a problem. I mean, I have no problem going on a long journey like this, but being that my wife is not really super into the idea of this purchase, mainly because she thinks that police interceptors are ugly, so she's not super on board with this whole thing. I'm not going to, you know, fly up there, rent a truck, tow it, but, you know, whatever. I'm not going to jack all of the expense of going to get the thing. I'm also not going to pay to get it transported because transport was $800, I want to say. So what I'm going to do is probably the second week of February, I am going to go in, rent a U-Haul trailer, and I'm going to drag this thing back. So I'm going to take a 12-hour trip up, a 12-hour trip back. It's going to be absolute misery, but I'll be into it again for another few $100s of the back and forth. So when all said and done, I'm going to have this car on the road the way that I see it at $3,000. Now, if you look at these police interceptors, they go anywhere from about $4,000 to $6,000 to $8,000. I've seen them even push up to 10 grand. So, you know, I think 10 grand is way overpriced for these things, but I have seen them priced at that. So the average price right now of these, if I just pull up a Car Guru search and look up any 2008 Ford Police Interceptor between 90,000 and 120,000 miles, the average price is $4,500. So I'll be into this thing for $3,000. It should run for quite a while, and not to mention, again, it's super clean on the inside. So stay tuned. I'm going to share my journey with you guys. I mean, when I go to pick this thing up, I have no idea if it's going to start. I have no idea if, you know, it looks like it got up underneath maybe a pickup truck, and that's what caused the damage, but it could have went up underneath a pickup truck and up a curb and ripped the whole undercarriage apart. I have no idea. So this was either the smartest thing that I've ever done or the dumbest thing that I've ever done. And you guys can follow along the journey and see, you know, what you guys think. So in the comments down below, let me know what you think about the photos of this car. And ultimately, if you're going to tell me that I got a really bad deal because it's a salvage title and resale is going to be affected on it, I'm really not worried about resale because I do intend on driving this thing till the wheels fall off. So resale to me is pretty much an irrelevant point. So I'll be able to get this car, fix it up for a few $100, well, call it $200 for the parts and pieces, and another $500 for a paint job. And then Arizona has basically $50 to go through a salvage title inspection and to get it basically retitled to be on the road. So really, all said and done, I think I got a really good deal, but like I said, I have to travel 12 hours back and forth, so a 24-hour road trip to go and pick this thing up. Is it worth it? I have no idea. Again, let me know in the comments down below what you think of my decision here. I kind of did it for the story, not the glory, I suppose you'd say, but we'll see what happens here. I do plan on traveling in my truck the entire way. I'm not going to get a hotel room because, again, I want to look at the end of this project and see what I have into it and be able to justify my decision. If I go and spend probably 3 nights in a hotel, or 3 different stays at a hotel, I really do plan on doing this all within 48 hours, but I will probably have to stop 3 times to sleep since it is just myself. So by the time I do that, it'd be another like $300 in hotels. I'm not doing that, so I'm going to van life it, as the other YouTubers would say, and basically just live homeless in my truck for 48 hours and see what I can kind of get done with this thing. So I'm going to haul the U-Haul trailer up with me and drag it back down. The reason for that is if I drive all the way up there and grab a trailer, and then drag it back, they want like $500 because it's like an interstate move, versus if I grab the trailer at my local location and drop it off at my local location, it's $50 a day. So 2 days, $100, there's my trailer. I just saved another $200. So that's my game plan. That's what I'm going to do. So again, stay tuned. In the next probably, like I said, second week of February is when I'm going to go grab that thing. So by late February, you guys should be able to follow along with this journey and see what I've got myself into. So if this is your first time tuning in, please click that subscribe button down below. Remember, likes go a long way to help support the channel, and we'll see you next time. I'm super happy to be back out on the bike vlogging. It's been a minute, so I'll see you guys next time. Stay tuned.